Okay, my beautiful friends, and in case no one has told you today, yes, you're all freaking beautiful. All of you. Let us talk. So it is my pre-market report on this Tuesday, November 29, 2022. I'm in a great mood today for a multitude of reasons. You know, every day above ground is a good day. I love being out here with all of you. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I want to show you what I picked up yesterday. Let me ask you. So you know, if you follow this blog, what's Greg Mannarino's favorite asset of all time? Well, that happens to be silver, right? Physical silver. My second favorite, physical gold. Gold, okay? I just picked this up yesterday. This is a 1 ounce Krugerrand, 1979. Paid well over spot, but in my view, well worth it here. We're getting more calls from major financial institutions saying that commodities are the place to be moving forward. People, look, this is a no-brainer in my view. I don't care what these institutions say. Most of the time, they're out here telling you the wrong thing. But look, if you don't understand that things are just not very good here, and the global money supply continues to balloon. Global debt is continuing to balloon. We're going to talk about that in a moment. And you know, the money supply, all of it. These are units of debt. These are not units of wealth. And if you don't understand that you need to be on the opposite side of that trade and betting against the debt, becoming your own central bank, holding hard assets like that, then you're really completely lost. That's been my message here for well over a decade, that at one particular point here, we were going to reach this moment of maximum saturation. That's what I'm talking about. I've used that term. It's my term if you hear anybody else using that. A moment in time where the global debt situation just becomes so overwhelming, and we're seeing the effects of that right now by surging inflation, and that's the side effect of all this deliberate, in my view, and I'm sure yours, as central banks continue to inflate, for which they're not going to stop. You know, yesterday we got Fed President Williams, Fed President Bulltard, and what was the other freak they floated out? Some other imbecile, William Dudley. I can't stand any of these freaking creatures. I really can't. And they're all pushing the same narrative, and it's unbelievable to me. The Fed has more work to do. They're going to continue to raise rates. Blah, blah, blah. They're so serious about doing something about inflation. They could not be less serious about it. Honestly, people, I don't understand what we're seeing. Maybe you do better than I do. And I would love to hear your take on this. What do we know for a fact, people, would stop inflation in its tracks? What do we know? Exactly. Some kind of method to stabilize the currency. And that would be, they could implement this overnight. The financial institutions, if they were just told by the central banks to increase capital reserves, we could contract the money supply and we could kill inflation. But they have no intention on doing that. The fact that you don't hear a peep at all. How many of you out here, honestly, I want to see a comment, have heard one time, even once, from a single mainstream propaganda ministry about contracting the money supply and how that would help control inflation? Have you heard about it one time? No, I don't think any of you have heard about that one time. All you have heard is raising rates, which they've been doing for months and months and months and months. Central banks around the world, ECB, Federal Reserve, none more so than these two here, in lockstep with each other, but they don't coordinate. You know that. Okay. And inflation continues to rise. And what did we find out yesterday from these same freaks? The same Federal Reserve President freaks are saying that inflation is going to continue to rise moving forward. Meanwhile, again, this morning, they had some thing, okay, on Bloomberg pushing the narrative yet again that inflation is peaking, and in fact may have already peaked. If that's the case, why is inflation continuing to rise? They think that you and I are beyond retarded. All right. And I have some news for those people. We're not beyond retarded in any way, shape, or form here. Before I even talk about the markets, I want to cover a piece of news here that we got from the Congressional Budget Office. Listen to this. All right, first of all, the Congressional Budget Office, we don't even have a budget, okay? And that's a big secret, too. Why can't we have budgets anymore? Because without continuing to inflate beyond anyone's wildest imaginations, everything would just collapse. We all know that. But according to the Congressional Budget Office, listen to this, U.S. debt will reach much higher levels moving forward as the economy continues to deteriorate. Their words. This is not Greg Mannarino. This is their words here. So we have an admission here from the Congressional Budget Office that the economy is deteriorating and debt is going to continue to reach much higher levels moving forward. Can I please get a succession of does? Duh, 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 duh. You can't make it up. You can't make this up. Honest to God, you can't do it. It's possible to do. Anyway, here's another one here. So Commerce Bank is saying to buy silver. Interesting. So we got JP Morgan, buy gold and silver. We got Commerce Bank buying silver here. Greg Mannarino just bought this lovely piece of gold to add to my lovely repertoire here. I got it all over my freaking desk and everywhere else. I'm addicted to it. I love to touch it, smell it. Although this one's in a little case. Kiss it. I'm in love with my precious metals. All right, okay. I know I shouldn't be in love with inanimate objects, but I just happen to be. You know how I feel about silver. No one said I was normal. Nobody said I was normal, and normal is way, 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 way over freaking rated. Anyway, so a couple of other things. I've been explaining to people for months. We've talked about it right here. The issue with the banks here. No savings, no loans, no deals. This is getting worse. So what we're finding out, and this actually came out late yesterday, so consumer bankruptcies and foreclosures are on the rise. Now, how many of you out here are even the slightest bit, shocked? Can I see your shocked face? Really? Oh, but our economy is booming and we're doing great. So is that why bankruptcies and foreclosures are on the rise? Is that why delinquencies with regard to any type of loan is on the rise as well here? This is all... You and I realized this was going to happen, I don't know how many years ago. We spoke about it again right here, how this mechanism would eventually lock itself in, where people are being choked to death and strangled deliberately by central banks who continue to inflate, sucking the purchasing power out of the currencies and causing people to suffer. Meanwhile, central banks continue to raise rates, which is only a mechanism here to destroy the economy further by killing demand. But inflation continues to rise. But let's do the same thing over and over again by continuing to raise rates and sell the lie to the people that they're doing this because they want to control inflation. Meanwhile, we just covered this. They can stop inflation in its tracks today if they just contract the money supply. But you will never hear about this ever. Like I said, how many of you have heard about this again on the mainstream financial channels? How contracting the money supply would be the fastest and correct way to slow inflation? But no, you won't hear about that. It's got to be kept secret. It's look here, don't look over there. They think you're stupid. I know you're not stupid. So anyway, with regard to the banks here, they're being in trouble. Yes, the financial sector, in my view, is in a lot of trouble. And because of that, you can expect another massive, absolutely epic public bailout of the banking system to occur. Way, way bigger than the last time. So I want you to be prepared for that. And the uprising will be nowhere. Oh yeah, people are going to bitch about it, and they're going to cry and yell and scream, how could they bail out the financial system when they just foreclosed on my house? Well, of course. And then, you're going to be sold some other bag of shit, and that's what they continue to do. Anyway, so this morning, just looking over here at the stock market, I'm looking at it right now, you got stock futures relatively flat, nothing major going on. You got the 10-year yield slightly higher, but the 10-year yield has been stuck in a very tight range lately. And how is this? What is the miracle behind all this? This is the Federal Reserve. This is central banks, again, buying all the debt. You can't know this is happening. It's all off balance sheet. Oh, of course, you can go to the Federal Reserve's website and look at what they have. Oh, it's just lovely. Oh, the balance sheet is shrinking. How about in no way, shape, or form is this happening? Because then there's so much stuff that goes on off balance sheet with regard to not just the Federal Reserve, but any other corporation that you're not allowed to know about. I mean, come on, we've discussed this at length, and it should be pretty evident to you. Anyway, so we got, again, stable 10-year yield. We got a dollar this morning, slightly weaker. Gold and silver catching a bid this morning. You got cryptocurrencies catching a bid, and crude oil, nice jump higher this morning. Remember, oil has to play here. Let's just put this together real quick. If, in fact, they keep the 10-year yield stable, if, in fact, they manage to weaken the relative strength of the dollar, or keep it at least in a very tight range, if, in fact, they can prop up crude oil, well, I'm going to give you one guess as to where the stock market is going. The economy and the market are not at all connected. Economy in free fall. Market will continue to rise because there's really nowhere else to go here. You want to hold a bond here that's guaranteeing you to lose money moving forward, getting your purchasing power sucked out of it. The only chance you have right now is getting into risk assets. I still believe right now that the market remains in a risk on mode. I wrote a whole paper about this yesterday. I gave it to all of you for free. I give you all my stuff for free. All right. If you are a subscriber to my free newsletter, it's there right now. It's in your inbox, a paper I wrote on how this is going to play out. Risk on, risk off. And I also explained that commodities are going to be the place to be moving forward. People just, it should be a no-brainer to you understanding how this is going to play out. Eventually, we're going to get a meltdown here in the debt market, and that's going to precede everything. This issue with rising inflation is just a side effect of what central banks have been doing for many, many years, inflating and inflating and inflating. They knew this would come. You and I knew this would come as well, and they're playing this up like it's like they didn't see this coming. Are you kidding me? And they continue to fake the data, tell you one thing when the polar opposite is true. You all know this stuff. Anyway, look at what I wrote here right at the top. I mean, sometimes I write little notes to myself. I'm going to show this to you. Here. Exit the dollar, buy commodities. Exit the dollars, buy commodities. And it's, I mean, please, it's a no-brainer, people. I don't know another way to put this. And if you disagree with me, let me know. Do you see this going another way? Greg, you're completely nuts. I don't agree with you on any level, and this is what I see going on. You know, Bidenstein says we're doing great and we have zero inflation. You think he's right, or you think Greg Mannarino's got a better perspective on this? All right, look, Greg Mannarino loves all of you. I mean that. Tom, shout out to you. It was nice to meet you yesterday. Anyway, just a gentleman I happened to come across who came, hey, are you Greg Mannarino? Yeah, I'm Greg Mannarino. At least I think so. Love you a lot. Please share the video. Please comment. I will see all of you later on. Bye-bye.